to deny my work. The world will deny my work. But men, your men, continue to die.
Will Smith plays pathologist Dr. Bennet Omalu in the new film Concussion. In 2002, Omalu discovered the progressive brain disease chronic traumatic encephalopathy, or CTE, when he performed an autopsy on Pittsburgh Steelers center Mike Webster. The film documents his discovery and his battle with the NFL. Dr. Omalu joins us today from New York City. Good morning, doctor.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure. And I want to start, if I might, at the very beginning of this story. That would be with Mike Webster, the Pittsburgh Steelers center. Tell us what happened with regards to that. You didn't even know who he was, right?
Yes, I did not know who Mike Webster was. I knew nothing about football. I did not even know what a quarterback was. I knew nothing about the NFL. But what happened was I empathized with Mike Webster when I met him after death. I met him in death. I had suffered a major depression in my life in medical school. So I knew what it was to have mental or psychological problems. And so I walked up to him like I always do to my patients. I spoke to Mike. I said to Mike, you know, we're in this together. You need to help me and guide me to the truth. I would do everything I could to get to the bottom of this. I thought he was sick. I thought you were sick. I thought you were a victim of football. But together we would get to the truth of this all.
And so you're looking at the body of Mike Webster, trying to figure it out, and you've heard that he's this prominent guy who was basically homeless and had to sell his Super Bowl ring. A lot of things had been bounced around. Alzheimer's was one. Tell us why you wanted to look at the brain.
Well, you know, there was no reason for me to do the Mike Webster autopsy. We knew why he died. He died of a heart attack. So I should not have even performed his autopsy. But I did because I thought there was a problem. There were questions we did not have answers to. Then I opened up his skull. His brain, amazingly, appeared normal. I remember that moment. I was dazed. I was knocked out. I got very confused. That was not what I was expecting to see, given his history, that his brain would look like an Alzheimer's disease brain. It did not look like that. It looked normal. And I took it out of the skull. I was almost tempted to cut it in the fresh state and put it back in the body. In fact, I had the brain knife in my hand. But for some reason, you know, maybe through Mike Webster's guidance, I kept the knife and chose to fix the brain. I spent 6 months with the brain. Eventually, I took it home with me. The brain was in my house for quite a while. In fact, at some point, it was in my refrigerator to preserve it. but I had to do that because of what I call organizational constraints. You know, when you're doing things within an organization, sometimes somebody's telling you what to do or what not to do. So I got a consent from the family, you know, so I could have my intellectual independence.
But the NFL didn't want the truth from you. They at one point insinuated that you were actually practicing voodoo, when in fact you discovered CTE. When you made that discovery and tried to present those facts, what happened?
Well, you know, like it is in the movie, when you see it, we should all learn to forgive ourselves, forgive the mistakes of the past, and see the good in one another. The NFL and some other people, even other doctors, misappropriated the science and ignored the humanity of science. But you know what? In a family, we all have our problems in families, but yet we all come together, bound together by that bond of peace. Moving forward, we must rest assured that whatever you do, in whatever activity, that the truth will always prevail.
So let me ask you this, from your analysis, from what you've seen through all of these years, how many NFL players, I'm talking active players, probably have CTE?
Well, in my opinion, and this is just my educated opinion, I think at a professional level, over 90 to 100% of them would have some degree of damage. Is a spectrum. Some would have negligible, some will have mild, some will have moderate, some would have severe. And as you get older, age is an aggravating factor. But really, I don't want people to focus on damage that has occurred. I think like the movie, I want people to become enlightened, to become educated and optimally informed.
Does that mean, Doctor, that parents who are watching this interview should be worried about their kids playing football?
Yes, I think as a matter of truth, when you expose your child to any activity, especially high-impact contact sports, and your child receives thousands of blows to his head, over the years, your child would suffer permanent and irreversible brain damage, which would manifest with seemingly innocuous but progressive symptoms 10 years later, 20 years later, sometimes up to 40 years later. And those symptoms would include diminishing intelligence, loss of cognitive functioning, mood disorders, changes in behavior, drug abuse, chronic alcoholism. These are constellations of symptoms that have been very, very well documented centuries ago. So now, like the movie, we need to become enlightened, educated, and informed so that when we make our decisions, it will be informed decisions. But like I said in my op-ed, knowing what we know now, should we continue to intentionally expose the most vulnerable of our societies, the most precious gifts of our lives? Should we continue to intentionally expose them to harmful activities, to risk of brain damage? And these are questions individual parents will have to answer as that one common family.
Last question for you, Dr. Omalu. With everything that you've been through with regards to the NFL, are there any regrets? Do you ever think, I wish I didn't discover this? Yes.
Like I have said repeatedly, I wish I never met Mike. The road has been extremely difficult for me, really. It has been. My wife doesn't even want to be associated with this because she can't get over the emotions. But it is what it is. Even my wife tells me that, Bennet, people made sacrifices for me to be where I am. And in that same spirit of oneness, we are one common people, one common love, one common hope, one common joy. I did what I could do to make a difference, to enhance the lives of my brothers and sisters. In that one common American and Canadian family, we are one joyful people. And I'm happy I've been given the opportunity.
Dr. Omalu, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.